first of all, this movie looks absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so I mean, listen, it's a very harrowing story. It is not a really feel-good movie, except for the end. At the end, my character, it's a true story. So
yeah.
In 2009, off the coast of Tampa, Florida, there were 4 guys. They were friends. 2 of them were NFL football players.
Right, I remember that.
Marquise Cooper and Corey Smith, and I played Nick Schuyler, and Will Bleakley was his buddy. They were trainers at a gym that these guys all worked out at, and they went fishing. And Marquise was a big fisherman. He loved fishing. He brought these guys out on his boat. Their anchor got stuck. And instead of just cutting the anchor, because Marquise had already lost an anchor in a previous trip, he was trying to just like gun the boat to get it unstuck. And when he did that, the inertia of the engine taking the bottom of the boat along with the wave that flipped the boat, it capsized the boat. And a massive storm rolled in, and over the course of a few days, 3 of those gentlemen passed away from hypothermia.
Right, I remember that. And they couldn't get the boat, flip the boat back over.
No, 4 very strong men, you know, with that kind of weight and water and all of that stuff.
It was like a suction
exactly, and they couldn't get it flipped over, so they were surviving just kind of on the upside down hull of the boat as long as they could. And fortunately for Nick, he was wearing this jacket you see in the film. It was his buddies were all kind of razzing him for it because it was this bright orange, whatever jacket that his mother had given him as a gift. But it was one of the things that ultimately kept him alive. Similar to a wetsuit, it kind of keeps the body warmth in.
Right.
And unfortunately, the other guys did not have that kind
jacket.
of clothing, and they were not able to survive. But Nick lived, and that is the hope. That is what the movie's kind of based on, is that last shred of hope that you hold on to.
Right.
And his mother and his girlfriend Paula at the time, who is now his wife, they were praying for him. They were believing, beyond belief, that they would see him again, and they did. So
but see, this is why I say, listen to your mama. People be wanting to not do what their mama tells them. Mamas know best. And so she put him on there. But, watching this movie, it takes me back to Jaws, because after seeing Jaws, people were afraid to go into the ocean. So is it like, are you gonna be doing any fishing anytime soon, Zach?
Yes. I mean, listen, I think that we can watch stories like this and we can take them as cautionary tales. We should be able to take whatever wisdom that God is trying to show us through these things. I think that's more, if your anchor's stuck, cut the anchor.
Cut the anchor.
Particularly if you know
that's
that
what
there's...
I said about my last ex-husband. If that anchor's stuck, cut that dang anchor. I know.
Oh, wow.
Don't you miss me? Don't you miss me, Zach?
I always miss you. We've known each other for like 25 years.
Yes, we have.
Since I was a little baby. We have. I know. And we're only 30.
And we're only 30.
We've known each other for
we worked together when you were like 2 years out of high school.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah. Well, I was 21 when we shot that pilot.
Yeah, so about 18, 19, 20, we did a show called Less Than Perfect together, Zach and I. So it was like, we've known each other for a long time. Oh, my God.
I was the age of your son now, essentially.
Oh, that's right, Jeffrey. You were 20 when...
Yeah, 21, yeah. So
oh, my gosh.
That's about that, yeah.
Okay, I feel so... Okay, let's stop talking
let's start,
Great.
Yeah.
Golly. But I want to congratulate you because you are a new dad.
I am.
You just had a baby.
Yeah.
So now, so how does it feel being a father?
It's the greatest gift.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it makes you
emotional.
Cry. It's gonna make me cry. Just think about it. I've wanted to be a dad since I was a kid. I've just always known it's in my DNA, it's in my bones, it's in my blood. And it was something that, kind of evaded me for a long time. But that's because I had a lot of work to do on myself before that was something that I could take on in my life. And God knows that, And then I met this wonderful woman, Maggie, and now we have this incredible child. And, and all the things that you're told prior to being a parent, they're all true. I mean, that a child really is, it's the greatest responsibility and challenge, but the greatest blessing and treasure that you get from that, and the lessons that you learn from that, and the mirror that they are to you, and the teacher that they are to you, the teacher and reminder of God's love, as we were talking about backstage, and the love that God sees us with and shows us. And so I just try to just give everything that I can to this child and try to break all of the generational trauma that was handed to me in my life, because I think that that's what we need to do. We need to recognize that our parents were trying to do.
You understand now, do the best that they could with what they had.
Exactly.
It kind of comes into more in a focus when you have your child.
Oh my gosh. I mean, as soon as he was born, I was holding him and I immediately was transported into the eyes and heart of my mother and my father as they held me as I was a newborn.
Yeah.
And no matter what went down in my very troubled childhood, and it was, but I've gone through a lot of therapy to recognize these things and to forgive my parents and to recognize they were doing the best they could. And I was holding them and I immediately just thought of the love that my parents had for me in that moment. And I broke down. I mean, just, there's so many moments that I've had. I was holding him and I had this moment where I started to think about when is the last time that I get to kiss him on the head, right? Like at what point are they so old that it's like, oh, that's cringe or that I don't want that anymore, right? And then I had this moment where I thought, oh, when is the last time? Because my father passed away a few years ago, and I remember kissing him on the head for the last time when he was in his hospital bed. And then I thought about when is the last time that he kisses me on my head? Oh my gosh, I started breaking down. It is. It's really. It's heavy. It's really heavy, but that's life, and that's what makes it powerful, and that's what makes it worth living. You know.
See, I think about that kind of stuff with Jeffrey. Like when will I not be able to do certain things? And so we were at a drugstore, literally, and I felt this rush of love towards Jeffrey, and I hugged him from behind just to show him how much I loved him. And he looked at me and he goes, "Oh, breast on back, awkward, awkward. Don't ever do that again." And I tell you, when I was like, well, can't do that anymore. That's the last time. But it's so funny because now that you're a dad, do you hope that your child doesn't do some of the same dumb stuff that you did?
Oh, yeah.
So is there anything that if you could get the chance to apologize to your parents for, no, now that you got Henson, is there anything you'd like say, I'm sorry, I was just so dumb?
How long do we have? There are still things that I'm doing that I wish that I think that at the end of the day, in the same way that our parents are doing the best that they can, right? Even as children, we're doing the best that we can with what we're dealing with and our inability or ability to communicate our needs and our traumas and whatever. I mean, yes, listen, I mean, I made some very dumb decisions. Sometimes they were. At the time. I mean, I used to smoke for a while when I was younger, and there was a time when I was 17 years old in California. You need to be 18 to smoke. I was 17, I was smoking a cigarette. A cop stopped me. They asked me, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 18. And they're like, what's your ID? I was like, oh, I don't have my ID. And then they started asking me all these questions about, well, who are you and where are you from? I rattled all of these incredible, off the just top of my head details. I couldn't believe I was coming up with them all. I felt very proud of myself.
So they were like all lies. You were rattling out.
All lies, complete fabrications, fake name, fake address, fake phone number. And then they're like, well, what's your mom's number? We need to call her. Now, granted, this is pre-cell phone, so I could use the excuse, oh, well, she's not home right now. She's off shopping. And they said, well, what is some number we can call? I was like, oh, I don't know. My grandma's working too. I don't know her number. And they go, well, we're going to have to hold on to you until you can prove to us who you are. Now, what I didn't realize, I was smoking across the street from a police station. So they marched me across the street. As soon as we walked to the front door, the gravity of the situation hit me. I was like, officers, I'm sorry. Listen, I just have to be honest with you. That is not my name. And they're like, turn around, put your hands behind your head. They cuffed me. They put me in a little room.
Right.
And then they called my mom, which, by the way, this was why I was lying to them. My mom's reaction to me getting arrested was far worse than anything I could ever. And so I'm listening to them. They're on the phone. I can only hear their side of the conversation. I'm in this room down the hall. I'm crying, and I hear the officers being like, yes, my last name is Pugh. Zachary Levi Pugh is my full name. They're like, Mrs. Pugh, we have your son Zachary in custody. Pause. Ma'am, you're going to have to calm down. Pause. Ma'am, if you don't stop yelling at us, we're going to have to put your son in juvenile detention. Pause. I'm screaming, Mom, just tell them what they need to hear, please. They come back in. They're ashen in their face. They're like, wow, now we understand why you try to lie to us.
And this is what you will be dealing with Mr. Henson.
And I think the way to avoid that and the why I felt like I needed to lie was because I was afraid of my mother's wrath.
Yes.
I was afraid of how she would react anytime I might, quote unquote, fail her or something. And so we all need to protect our children in the sense that, yes, there's consequences to your actions, but may there always be love. May there always be a safe place for them to come to you and say, I messed up.
And you're good. You're halfway there, Zach.
Yeah.
Congratulations on being a daddy.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Like what you just saw? Well, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling. Hit the bell to subscribe right now.